Anime OPMC is a popular term now. A lot of anime fans are looking for an anime that has a main character that is OP. Does this mean that the character is the strongest character in the anime? It does not necessarily mean that. Anime OPMCs can be the main character that uses his strength wisely and shows how he fights the typical villains of a typical manga or anime. The hype is real! With the recent release of My Hero Academia, it seems that the concept of what used to be known as woobie is now called OPMC, which stands for Overpowered Main Character. Here are the top 10 animes where the MC shows his true powers during the battle. Number 10. God Eater. After watching the first 3 episodes of God Eater, the story is actually not bad. I love good underdog stories about how humanity is on the brink of destruction, and like human nature, they always pull through and go from surviving to adapting to reclaiming to conquering. In the early 2050s, unknown life forms called the Oracle Circles begin their uncontrolled consumption of life on Earth. Their ravenous appetite and remarkable adaptability earned them first dread, then awe, and finally the name Aragami. In the face of an enemy completely immune to conventional weapons, urban civilization collapses, and each day humanity is driven further and further towards extinction. One single ray of hope remains for humanity. Following the development of God Arcs, living weapons which incorporate Oracle cells, their wielders are organized into an elite force. Overall, it's a pretty good one. I mean, I love watching God Eater. It's got the right atmosphere and the right vibes and a really cool, music. The music's pretty good. But the characters are, obviously, the characters are the driving force. So, yeah. Number 9. Chokai, Being the Reality. It begins like a pretty normal school anime, quickly turns into something a bit more fantastic where the first disaster arrives, a world where mysterious beings called disasters continually threaten the peace of the world. A special military unit called Saber is formed to oppose disaster. Private conglomerates and the independent self-defense organizations Blade also form and advance on the enemy. Noi is a high school student who yearns to join Saber and fight disaster. After a mysterious girl named Motis transfers into his class, his normal life completely changes. Number 8. Chain Chronicle. Hayasietes no Hikari. I will try to avoid spoilers as much as possible in this video. So let's begin. This is the story of the Chain Chronicle, a book that describes everything that happens in the world. The citizens of the remote continent of Yaiba once thought that there was nothing beyond their continent. The continent was divided into several regions, each with its own king. Though there were small skirmishes amongst them, a lord chosen by the kings in conference always maintained balance until the evil Black Army arrived. The volunteer army led by Yuri was no match for the Black Army. During the fighting, the Lord of Black captures half of the Chain Chronicle as well as the capital. Number 7. Gate. Ha 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 ha! I love this. Great storyline and a nice art style, and in August of 2000XX, a gate suddenly appears in Tokyo's Ginza district, unleashing a portal where monsters, medieval knights, and other fantasy beings come from another world and wreak havoc on Tokyo. The Japanese Defense Force take action against these monsters and push them back into the gate. Third Renaissance team is dispatched to the special region led by Officer and Otaku Yuji Tami. On their travels, they are joined by a beautiful elf girl who is a survivor from the dragon's rampage and guide the group across the dangerous new world. Number 6. In Another World with My Smartphone. It looks pretty good and is executed fairly well. After dying as a result of God's mistake, the main character finds himself in a parallel world where he begins his second life. His only possessions are the body that God gave back to him and a smartphone that works even in his new world. As he meets all kinds of new people and forges new friendships, he ends up learning the secret to this world. He inherits the legacy of an ancient civilization and works together with the kings of some very laid-back countries on his carefree travels through his new world. This anime is absolutely amazing because it has everything I look for in an ideal anime. Number 5. Witchcraft. Honoka Takamiya is a typical teenager. He does his classwork and admires Ayaka, the school idol, who sits next to him in class. But the boy's life changes forever when one day a piece of the school falls on top of him and he's saved by Ayako due to her magical powers. For Ayaka is a witch and deeming Honoko to be her princess. I'm kidding. A princess only, not Hayudo or whatever I said. She is determined to keep the boy safe from harm. Now Honoka must try to stay alive while countless other witches target him. Learn more about Ayaka and her craft and still try to maintain his school life in the process. Number 4. Hitoro Noshita, the Outcast. Very nice, very cool, I enjoyed it very much. Cho-Soran leads a very common college student's life until he finds himself caught up in a terrible incident that happened in a small village. As he was walking through a graveyard, Cho-Soran is assaulted by zombies. I thought the story was going to be a horror one, but this dongu is good and funny. The concept is, of course, of the story that is quite interesting, and I think it's taking a little too long to get to the climax of the story, but it sounds okay. Sometimes there are music, which don't really fit the scenes. But the OP is good, of course. Number 3. Black Bullet. Good animation with dark backstory and a lovable character. In the year 2021, mankind was defeated by Gastria, a parasitical virus, and was forced to live within a well made of baranium monoliths. Is it a well or is it a wall? Let me see the design. Okay, it's definitely a wall. Correct me there. It's a wall. Yep, it's a wall. A metal that is able to subdue Gastria. Soon the cursed children were discovered, children born infected with the Gastria virus who possess superhuman abilities. Due to the Gastria virus intervention, the cursed children could only be female. Civil securities are formed to specialize fighting against Gastria, operating with the pair of an initiator, who are cursed children, and a promoter, serving to lead the cursed children. 10 years after the war, Rentaro Satomi, a high school student and civil security member, and his initiator, Enju Aihara, receive a secret mission to prevent Tokyo's destruction. Number 2. Hataraku Mostsama. A series about a bunch of otakus with superpowers. When Demon King Satan was facing his demise at the hands of hero Emilia, he had no choice but to quickly flee to another world with his demon general, Alciel. However, upon their arrival, the twosome is taken aback with the realization they have lost almost all of their magic and moreover were transformed into ordinary humans and are stranded in the otherworldly place called Japan. To survive, the Demon King must now work a part-time job at a fast food joint and attempt to adapt to a modern society the best the pair can as Japanese citizens, all while scheming to rule the country in the process. It's a pretty good anime. I really like it, to be honest. Got good potential too. Number 1. The King's Avatar. It is a lot better. In the multiplayer online game Glory, Yu Shu is a well-known as a textbook-level expert and a top-tier player. Due to a series of circumstances, he was forcefully expelled out of his professional team. After leaving the pro gaming scene, he resides at an internet cafe employed as one of the managers. When Glory launches a 10th server, he throws himself into the game once more, equipped with 10 years of gaming experience, memories of the past, and an incomplete self-made weapon. His journey back to the top begins after plotting and scheming who took away my glory. Under the influence of the storm, my hopes will never be shattered. In its magnificence, the path will not be lost, for I will return. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then give this video a like and share it with your friends and family, and also subscribe for more top 10. Stay safe and take care. My name is Zeta Khan, and I'm the voice of the voiceless. See you next time.